Chapter 8. Plan. The final plan was deceptively simple. Nobody had to know about its implementation. Something told Sana her parents wouldn't approve of her actions. She wasn't putting herself in direct danger, so she could hopefully sweet-talk her way out of punishment after the fireworks. Better to ask forgiveness than permission. It was 1100 hours. She had 3 hours before a hangout session with Jeremy and Annalisa was scheduled. Really, she wanted to have a full day, but she wasn't going to cancel on such short notice. That would be suspicious, and she did miss Lisa. Fortunately, her message was short, and she had the costume pieces ready. 1 black hoodie, 1 pair of black sweatpants, 1 pair of black mittens, 1 pair of black sneakers, 1 medical mask, her dad's largest pair of sunglasses, and Lord Static's choker and crown. After putting it all on and raising the hood, she was suffocating, but well disguised. She grabbed a bottle of seltzer and set up the camera. It ended up taking 2 hours, and she was well beyond fed up by the end. The seltzer had long been emptied, and she was drenched in sweat. Sana finally got something acceptable, and she tore off the mask with a dramatic gasp. "I think I'm dying," she declared to no one. Verbalizing her thoughts helped her think. Her monologue continued through the liter of water she pounded down. Was it a monologue if garlic was staring at her the whole time? I have no idea why I gave them a name, especially one like that. A long drink. I guess it's better than leaving it up to the public to give me one. Another drink, long enough for her chest to go tight, and the bottle was mostly gone. I'd be stuck with the moniker forever either way. At least it fits, though somebody might get confused with all the S names flying around. It's better than Dead Pixel, Blackout, or Glitch, if nothing else. Garlic maintained her dispassionate stare, then started grooming herself. "Thanks for your input," Sana said dryly. Admitting that she'd picked an S name partly to continue the legacy that had been dumped in her lap would have made her feel dirty, so she didn't. Leaving off a title was practicality and truth. She was no false noble. Even considering herself the illegitimate spawn was unpleasant. The fact that she'd picked the name out a week after getting the bots was immaterial. She hadn't wanted to be a vigilante then or now, but supers at her level tended to get dragged in kicking and screaming if they didn't go willingly or go off the deep end, as her current situation could attest. Better to be prepared. She shed her layers in favor of jeans, a long-sleeve shirt, and a bot-made work apron before tearing down the set. It was nothing more than a sheet tied to the shelves in the back of her parents' closet. Not exactly Hollywood, but it was the best place she could think of. Using the sheet as a backdrop hid any identifying features of her location. Paranoid? Probably, but it was only a little extra effort, and Sana had no desire to get found out because someone recognized a part of her house, however well hidden. The video went on a stop sign red flash drive tied to the most obnoxious neon orange keychain she'd been able to dig out of her dad's camping supplies. She wanted to be absolutely sure the recipient couldn't miss it. A piece of masking tape on the flash drive addressed the device to Detective Valentin. A message for the prince. She tossed the flash drive in the air the way she would toss a rubber ball. The repetitive motion was soothing. Toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, snatch! She felt a bit like a super spy as she slid the drive into her pocket and went to go grind glass. She'd only had time to smooth the edges of 4 pieces when she heard the doorbell. She pulled off her work gloves and goggles and headed upstairs to greet her guests. Annalisa met her at the door and went in for a hug, but Sana hopped back. "Much as I love you, Lee, I'm kind of covered in glass dust right this second. Can I have a minute to change?" she asked. Lisa blinked, then registered what Sana was wearing. "Is the apron new?" "Yep." She gave a little twirl to show off the garment. It's to keep shards and dust from getting into my clothes. What you think? Lisa smirked and tugged on one of the dangling ties of the bow in the front. Not a great look, in my opinion, but if it stops you from getting shredded, I'm a fan. Sana huffed. It's not supposed to look good. It's supposed to do a job. It's not like anybody except friends and family will see me wearing it. If you say so. Now shoo. I'm sweating just looking at you. Sana grinned and beat a retreat. Lisa would hardly suffer for being unattended for 5 minutes, and the long sleeves and pants really were too much in the heat. She swapped her outfit for a pale blue sundress and green glass hairpin and turned the apron into a long, light scarf, belt, and calf-length leggings. Sana could have done without the pants, but she didn't have any better idea for a bot disguise that would hide the majority of the tech and go with the outfit. How did Lord Static keep the bots hidden all the time? He was probably confident enough in his control to forego non-bot clothing, she thought wryly. Not for her. Lisa had set up shop in the living room in the short time Sana had been gone. The drone of the microwave was nearly drowned out by the clatter of Chinese checkers pieces as Lisa fiddled with the board. Sana got drinks and joined her. By the time Jeremy arrived, Sana had put on Intrusion of the Corpse Replacers, and Lisa was mocking her for it. He stepped into the living room as Sana tackled her. The play wrestle was brought to a halt when Jeremy scruffed Sana like a disobedient kitten and lifted her clean off Lisa. Once she was too busy trying not to choke, he dropped her. She landed on Lisa with an oof from both parties. Hey, Jer, Lisa said once she'd gotten her breath back. She rolled Sana off her and gave him a charming smile. How was your day, Ben? Not bad. Why was Sana attempting to strangle you? He asked. Blasphemy, Sana said flatly. What? She started cleaning up the game pieces from where her pounce had scattered them. Intrusion of the Corpse Replacers is a classic. It's 50s sci-fi, and the special effects show it. There's so much better out there, Lisa retorted. Plus, this is the 3rd time I've seen it with you. We've been friends for how long? Irrelevant when I've also seen The Monster from Another Planet, Plot 6 from the Stars, and every single episode of The Sundown Area. That's the short list. And the most decent entries. You have an addiction, Zahn. I can stop whenever I want. Sure you can. And I can all but guarantee Jeremy hasn't seen it yet, so I'm obligated to make sure he's cultured. Oh my God. Lisa buried her face in her hands in despair. So, Jeremy, Sana said, completely ignoring her best friend's lost hope. I hope you don't mind Intrusion of the Corpse Replacers playing in the background while Lisa destroys us both in Chinese checkers. He eased his way to the floor as though expecting it to bite him. There's so much context here that I'm missing, he lamented. Sana flipped onto her belly and placed the spare pieces she'd collected in the game's box. Prepare to be educated, Lieutenant. Surprising Sana, Jeremy won the first round. Sana was left in his and Lisa's dust. He won the second round too, but Lisa squeaked to victory in the third. Sana had given up by that point and spent subsequent games cheering Lisa on and pelting both players with popcorn. The final score was 3-2, Jeremy's win. Lisa groaned, Sana cackled, and Jeremy picked up the board. The film was getting to the good part by then, so Sana gently bullied the other two into sprawling all over the floor and paying full attention to the film. Sana espoused the virtues of the genre and this movie in particular while lying on her stomach in front of the TV. Lisa contributed drawling, sarcastic commentary on the special effects and plot while propped up by pillows, and Jeremy leaned against the sofa and nibbled on the remnants of the popcorn. It was nice. Once the movie was over, Sana bounced up and raced for the workshop. She trusted Lisa, who knew the dance, to stop Jeremy from going after her. As she was gathering what she wanted, she had a passing thought. She'd been intending to mail the drive to the police station, but Jeremy was right here. He'd brought a backpack and everything. Why couldn't she take a shortcut? Lord knew it'd reduce the risk of her message being lost in transit and the delay in transport. Plus, no need for any address, which meant less chance of her handwriting being recognized. Jeremy had left his bag in the kitchen closet, which was cut off from the line of sight of the living room. Sana had the perfect opportunity to slip the flash drive into the main pocket. She did so before she could second-guess herself. From there, it appeared as nothing more than an extra few moments in her trip. She came back with a handful of projects. Jeremy watched with undisguised curiosity as she laid the charms and suncatchers out in front of him and Lisa. There were 5 objects, but Sana could see that one, a red and gold suncatcher, had caught his eye. That one was his, then. She tapped it and gave him a smile that had graced the lips of countless secret keepers. He balked and made an effort to look everywhere except the glass. Lisa, her own prize already in hand, chuckled at his discomfort. "Just take it, Jer. It'll hurt her feelings if you don't." He looked to Sana for confirmation. She raised and lowered her eyebrows in a "go on" gesture. That eased his reservations, and he held the suncatcher up to look through it. Red light dappled his face. Out of the corner of her eye, Sana caught Lisa looking at him like she'd never seen him before. It was weird, and Sana wasn't sure she liked it. To distract the other girl, she tapped the fist with the project. Lisa unfurled her fingers and let Sana inspect her piece. It was a simple kite-shaped pair of earrings she'd created from the cast-offs of a larger pendant. The white glass with blue marbling had been too pretty to waste. "If you want them, they're yours," she said. Lisa, by way of response, took the pair she was wearing out and put new ones in. Lisa, by way of response, took the pair she was wearing out and put the new ones in. Now Jeremy was looking at Lisa the way she'd been looking at him. That had backfired. Well, she'd have to keep an eye on things to see what happened. Jeremy was nice and all, but Lisa was Sana's friend, first and foremost. He moved to put the suncatcher back, and that wouldn't do. "That goes for you, too," Sana told him. "Really?" He took it, but remained hesitant. "You put a lot of work into this." Sana nodded. "Really, I make glass projects to relax. It's not nearly as much work as you think." The little thing in his hands had taken less than a week. Lisa's earrings had taken a few hours. "Thank you." He seemed touched. Sana decided not to say anything more. She had her hairpin already, so she swept the remaining 3 pieces into her room. She'd deal with them later. The 2 pins would make decent gifts come the holidays, and the hair extension with the glass weight on the end could be kept. By the time she came back, Lisa and Jeremy had busted out the playing cards and had decided on crazy 8s. Sana smirked. It was time for her comeback. They played for an hour, and Sana took the majority of the wins. After that, it was time for the 2 guests to head home. They collected their things, and Jeremy moved to put his suncatcher in his backpack. Panic shot through Sana. "Wait!" she shouted. Both Jeremy and Annalisa froze. "What's wrong?" Lisa asked. Excuse. The light bulb went off. "You're not just tossing that in your bag, are you?" She pointed at the suncatcher. "It'll break. At least wrap it in some paper towels." "Oh, right. Good thinking." "Don't yell like that. You almost gave me a heart attack." Jeremy and Lisa spoke over each other. The clamor made Sana smile. In truth, the suncatcher could survive more than people would anticipate, but wrapping it was all she could think of to explain her outburst. She wrapped it, then tried not to show her stress when he slid it into his pack. No indication he saw or felt the drive. The touch to her hands startled her, and she realized she'd been flexing them. Annalisa had taken Sana's hands in her own to calm the tic. "We'll be fine," she reassured Sana. "I'll text you when I get home, and I'll get Jeremy's condition when he makes it back too. There's no need to worry. Besides," she grinned, "we got here fine, didn't we?" "That you did." Sana chuckled and squeezed Lisa's hands. "Be careful anyways." "When am I ever not?" "You want a list?" Ribbing aside, they said their goodbyes and parted ways with good cheer. Sana waited until they were gone before humming a tune she liked and stepping into a small dance. Now all she had to do was wait.